Turn the mic on and start again, shall we? Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. This is the Planning Committee meeting of Broome Town Council. I'm Steve Tanner. I'll be chairing. We make our meetings available to as many people as possible. So we use a hybrid setup of here in the Town Hall Chamber and online via Zoom. Anyone in the room, please raise your hand. Emergency exit is to the corner and assembly points in the car park. Any panelists on Zoom, please use the electronic raise hand by clicking on the participants button at the bottom of your screen. And again, any attendees on Zoom, please post questions to the Q&A board, and attendees' names will become visible on the questions board for the record as your question is answered. Tonight, Owen's going to clerk, manage the question board, participant settings, get the T's, and the meeting will be recorded for minuting purposes, and we will live stream to our YouTube channel. Thank you. Item number 1 on the agenda. Any questions, comments, or information from public or councillors? Nothing. Great. Excellent. Number 2, agree the apologies for absence received.
We have apologies from Polly Lamb and Fiona Barrows.
Right. Happy with that?
Steve opposed, Philip, and unanimous.
Item number 3, declaration of members' interest. We weren't going to discuss it. It wasn't on the list, but if we want to discuss it, we could.
Just in terms of also knowing him so well, but I was going to declare an interest on 958 because Paul Herman has been contributing to Hidden Gardens, so it's probably inappropriate for me to, probably inappropriate for me to take part in that discussion.
Great. Okay, thanks for that. Item number 4, to agree the minutes of the meeting held on the 14th of May. There's not any problem. Thank you, Mark.
Mark opposed, Andy seconded, and unanimous.
Okay. Item number 5, to consider a response to the addressing application 2260-275 of the retreat, the houses that were built there. Have we got? I've got the wrong one. Hold on. Hello, come in.
Hey.
How you doing?
Thanks for coming. How you doing? Paula is councillor.
You are. I have to change everything now.
Paula's a councillor at Beckington. I've been speaking to recently about the local plan.
Okay. Well, we're coming on to that in 1 minute. We've just got to. So anyway, at the retreat, they need to name streets. Okay, so they are proposing to call them Sidings Drive. Do we have any particular issues with that? I can't use the word river evidently because Somerset have said there's too many roads in Fring called rivers or something or river something. Okay. Yeah. So
I think it's fine.
yeah, I it's next to the railway. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Excuse me. No, that's fine. Yeah.
Probably need to.
Do we need to vote on that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Andy opposed, Philip second, and unanimous. Sidings Drive for the name change proposal.
Which conveniently brings us on to item 6 on the agenda. Discuss a response to Somerset Council's scoping consultation of the new local plan. Which I guess, Paula, that's why you're here. Right. Yeah.
It's
all right.
So, in advance of this, before going away, Jane prepared a report that she shared with the committee, outlining our initial comments and thoughts regarding the scoping consultation on the Somerset local plan. So I don't want to go into it in too much depth. I guess the main takeaway, as Steve will reiterate, is that it is a scoping consultation. So it's more about the kind of categories which the local plan will contain, and whether we think that there are things that are missing from that. Probably be a key point for discussion. I think the overall vision of the plan kind of resonates with the kind of priorities of the council. One of the key things that we picked out was the potential for strengthening reference to healthy and sustainable food systems. And we had some conversations about allotments and so forth. So there's some more detail in there about aligning with the government food strategy and focusing not just on access to healthy food, but it also being about a healthy and sustainable food system that is resilient to things like price increases, climate change, and so forth. And we also identified some additional policy areas, including water efficiency, energy infrastructure, vehicle dominance, allotments, again, we've mentioned before, protection of wildlife corridors, which we've been working on in the Nature Recovery Plan recently, and also ensuring that rules around viability in respect to developers doesn't undermine the ambition of housing schemes, and also probably may want to point out how can we make sure that things that are in the outline planning permission are carried through to reserve matters and design codes.
Yeah, thanks, Owen. Yeah, as Owen said, so the scoping exercise that finishes next Friday really is about the subject, not the subject matter, if you know what I mean. So it's about the headline rather than the detail that's within the headline. So what they're asking us to do at the moment is just look through the headlines and make sure that all the various topics are covered, and if they're not, can we look at them? Can we point out where we want a further discussion and or further engagement, basically? So that's pretty much what we'll be doing. Paula, do you want to jump in? Do you want to add anything or ask him?
I push the button down.
Just talk. It should kick in. I don't know.
Can't quite hear it. Pushed it right up.
Okay. I happened to contact Owen because it was recommended that I do so, because I agree with what you're saying about it being headlines, but there are 77 questions in the consultation.
Yeah.
There is a quantitative vote from the 176 settlements and parishes across Somerset. And under the public transport corridor spatial strategy option, which we thought great, we did an LC whip as you did. We're one of the few villages that have done in Somerset. We got the climate emergency money that you got from Somerset. We've built bus shelters. We're now about to build another 2 bus shelters and a cycle rack. So we thought, public transport corridor, yay. So, we're with you. We're very into sustainability. However, if you start looking at the information in the hundreds of pages of packs, if you look at the public transport strategy option, 125 of the parishes and settlements out of the 176 are going to get 0 houses. Another 20 parishes are going to get 38. 31 parishes, including you and us in Beckington, are going to get all of the 75,000 houses.
Yeah.
So when there's this quantitative vote next Friday, which of these 6 spatial strategies do you want? 145 of the 176 settlements are going to go public transport. And Owen wasn't aware that you were going to get 11,307 houses under that strategy.
If that's option 4C is taken, isn't it?
Sorry?
If that's one of the options is taken, isn't it?
And there's 6 spatial strategies that have gone through to the short list from an original long list. They've had an SEA, a sustainability appraisal done. And the top 3 now, one of those top 3 is the public transport corridor. So that all seems fine. If you've got great bus service and train services, fair enough. The key objective is obviously to reduce emissions with the climate. My daughter runs a climate charity, so trust me, I'm on board there as well.
Yeah.
However, it's the methodology and the execution that's the issue. And the reason those 125 parishes are getting 0 is because Somerset, they say, they're very honest about the methodology to a certain point. They say we did manual checks of all the timetables, but then we got to the point it was very time consuming and there was room for manual error. And we thought, oh, okay, we're the spatial strategy team. The roles and functions settlement team had got their WSP consultants to do an accessibility model as part of the role and function work. That sounds fine. They said, fine, we'll dump the timetables, we'll use this. Now, the problem with the WSP accessibility tool that all this is based on, your 11,307 and our 442, which, by the way, is an 86% over the plan period for you and an 89% for us, which in sustainable terms, not sure, is because in the WSP model, they've used the cutoff time for a bus to get you to a big town or a big employment centre of 20 minutes. Now, for trains, they've used a cutoff of 60 minutes, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the average commute in England on a train is 63 minutes. The average commute on a bus is 39 minutes. So why are they only using 20 minutes? And that is why 125 parishes, they can't get anywhere on the bus in 20 minutes. So they get no housing. They can get somewhere in 39 minutes. So I started ringing round, because I'm no professional, I started ringing round some transport planning professionals. Is 20 minutes standard? No. Where's that come from? Seems a bit...
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we had the same. We looked at some of the data and we've got question marks about the data. I think they've given Frome railway station the same weighting as Castle Kerry. And Castle Kerry is very much on the main line and Frome is very much not. So I think there are lots of questions around the data. And from what I understand, Jane Llewellyn, she's our planning officer, she's not here tonight. She's already spoken to Bill Cotton and said, how does this work? And he's sort of confirmed this is just a scoping document and everything is up for discussion once they get the responses back. It's really making sure that the topics that need to be raised are indeed raised.
There's another slight issue there.
I see Helen's got her. Yeah. Helen, do you see you got your hand up? It's Councillor Helen Case. She's a... Yeah. Nope. Can you hear us, Helen? Right.
She should be able to move.
Helen, can you hear us? Hello?
No.
Ah.
Hi, you've unblocked me. Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate some of the things that Laura, who I don't know but sounds very knowledgeable, has just said, which is, and I'm glad you picked up on the spatial strategy. So all those different spatial strategy options, as Laura's just explained, one of them is about using the transport model. You might not be aware that Dawn Denton, it was in the Frome Times recently, another councillor, has been asking questions about why we can't have some more of this, I don't know how much it is, £50 million or something, £30 million bus money being thrown, around Somerset. Why can't we have more of it in Frome for some of our bus services? And the portfolio holder keeps saying, well, we're not really sure if people are going to use it. When we gave money before for this bus service, people didn't use that bus. So we've got potential for all kinds of transport. We've got potential to upgrade the station. I'm not quite sure we've got potential for any more parking spaces. I think there's only a maximum of about 25 parking spaces. We've got all kinds of potential, but whether or not that means that will follow that we will get improved bus services or improved rail services is a different matter. So I'm also on the cross-party working group for the local plan, and I asked a similar question to the point that you raised about and Selwood Parish Council has also raised about the sort of comparing. You're not comparing like for like if you're comparing Castle Carey with lots of parking spaces and fast services to London and Exeter with Frome Station, which is really just sort of, I think there's one train a day that goes to London. Otherwise you have to change and it takes forever. So my big concern apart is that they do use a blended approach, which gives too much emphasis on the transport corridors, and I will say so. But what you should be aware of is I think you need to really say this in your response very, very clearly, because we have a meeting next week, I think, and it's officers and people like myself on the cross-party working group, but a very limited number of councillors, and we will be talking mainly about the spatial strategy, and there will be workshops and whatever all day run by officers that I think will be pushing us towards a particular approach, whereby Frome could well get 11,000 houses. And sorry, I don't know where Laura represented. Was it Beckington? I don't know where it was, but yeah, large villages will also get massive amounts of housing. And I do think I need to challenge that. And it would be great if some of the other parishes like yourself also challenge that. So I just wanted to sort of say that. I think, as I say, Laura's already said a lot of it already, but I just wanted to reiterate it, particularly if it ends up with officers and councillors not from this area. I'm going to be the only one from this area. Everybody else is going to be from, the officers are, a lot of them, none of them are based in Frome. They'll be based in Taunton or around that area, and a handful, 6 maybe, other councillors. So I will be outnumbered. So it would be great if you would put something in your written response about this.
Yeah, we will, Helen. Jay, as I said at the start, I don't know if you heard, Jane's away this week. We're going to sit down next week and basically go through the whole 70 odd questions, and we've already got some points to raise, and we'll add that to it.
Okay, thank you. That was my main concern. It's just this whole nonsense about Frome being sustainable because it's got a little tiny station. Yeah.
It was. I sort of picked that up as soon as I saw that graph, which is, as I say, it's got the same weighting as Bruton and Castle Carey at the moment, which doesn't. And
Taunton, Taunton's got a station. I mean, I don't know it might be worth doing a.
Taunton's got a much higher loading. Taunton's got a loading of 100. Frome, Castle Carey and Bruton from memory is 43. Yeovil, I think, 71. Which
this is a waiting for the station. You mean out of?
Well, it's how they're adding the waiting for the station and the waiting for other public transport.
I see. Right.
Coming up with another number which determines how much access there is to public transport in any one town, village, etc.
And is that based on? Sorry. What Laura was saying, is that based on the WSP accessibility model, or is that based on actual looking at timetables?
Well, that's one of the questions we're asking. How do you get to that number?
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Maybe Laura knows.
Right.
Sorry, it's Paula Fox from Beckington, not Laura, but don't worry.
Sorry.
I have asked this question in a series of emails, basically the same question in 4 emails to Graham Thompson, who seems a lovely guy. He has basically refused to provide access to the WSP accessibility tool, which apparently is a spreadsheet because I've looked it up. And he refuses to give me any numbers. So, for example, you've got the number of unique trips on a bus from Beckington is X, and then it becomes score Y. Now, for Beckington, it happens to be the same, but it isn't for anyone else. So, for example, there's a technical note from WSP, Helen, that's linked, that explains some of their methodology, and it uses a settlement called Bicknoller, I think the name is, and they've got 48 unique bus trips. They get an access score of 5, whereas Beckington has got 35 unique bus trips, and we get a score of 36. Right. So, and they're talking about weightings and normalizations. This is a lot of statistics that we are not being given privy to. And I'm worried. And I've also picked up quite a few errors even on the data that's printed here. So I am getting, I mean, we love road. We work with them a lot. We're on the same bus route. They've been ruled out of any housing because the D2 bus takes longer than 20 minutes to get here. It's an extra bus stop. That's fine under these criteria. But the national tools used by planners, which I think is where you should get your, who are your transport planning company?
Don't know.
Yeah, because I just rang a couple round and I said, is 20 minutes your standard transport planning tool? And I was told no. The average bus commute is 39 minutes. And there is Podaris, which is a tool that is mentioned in both topic papers, in the role and function settlement paper and the spatial strategy. And you go into Podaris, I mean, I know nothing about it, but on their website, they say, we can help you. Where can you get to, planners, in 15, 30 and 45 minutes? No, 20 minutes. Then there was the Department of Transport DFT connectivity tool that was launched to all planning teams in the UK on the 26th of June. It was my birthday, 2025. And it says in the spatial strategy, oh dear, that was launched too late. We'd already done everything. Really? Because they didn't have a session kicking these options around until late 25, according to the topic paper. Yeah. And the period, the cutoff for all journeys on public transport in the Department of Transport connectivity tool that was launched for everyone to use in their local plans is 60 minutes, not 20 minutes. So I'm just worried.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to have to rerun this. I'm going to have to rerun this meeting. So I hope you put it on YouTube quite quickly, because I want to just write notes of all the things Paula, sorry, I got your name wrong, that Paula has said, so that I can then go back.
Helen, I mean, I'm quite happy to share emails or phone numbers because I've done quite an in-depth report.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I don't know, Steve knows my telephone number. Perhaps at the end of the meeting you can get it off Steve. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, and I'm also free Saturday afternoon if you wanted to meet.
Just sounds as you've got a bit more power than our poxy little village.
Well, no, I think it seems like you've done a lot of work, but it would be great to have that to sort of,
it would be really good, to coordinate in terms of what our response might be at Frome Town Council as well, just so we can get that wording right, whether that's, we want to ensure that there is further scope for, looking at these.
So we're going to put our response together next week when Jane's back. So maybe I don't know if we can sort of collate responses, if you know what I mean, or at least we can send you our responses and vice versa, so that we're all singing from the same page.
Happy. Yeah. I mean, Owen and I are now in contact on phone and email. I mean, I clarify, I am not a professional planner. I'm not a potential spatial strategist.
I should tell you that my in-person meeting, they won't let us do this online. It has to be in person. Is at Taunton on the 22nd. That's Wednesday next week. So I've only got.
The date's the 24th, isn't it?
Pardon? Yes, I know, but we are having our get together with officers, and as I say, there's only a handful of 6.
So you're going to discuss what option they're going to take before the closing date?
No, I think we're going to hammer out what the officers think, and the people that have been invited to that group include transport planners, and Mike Rigby will probably be there, the portfolio holder, and I'm sure Bill Cotton and some of the other senior transport people will be there as well. But I need to have all my slings and arrows kind of lined up, so to speak. So I've actually put aside Saturday afternoon to read through all the paperwork, because I haven't yet. I've just looked at Selwood Parish Council's response to the 77 questions, whatever it is, and to get a feel of it. And I haven't actually responded to it myself as an individual, because I wasn't sure if it would compromise me. I'm going to have to ask about that on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I need to liaise with Paula before Wednesday, if possible.
Yeah. The problem we've got, Helen, is Jane's not back until Tuesday.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry to everybody else to dominating this, but I could also possibly do Tuesday afternoon. or evening if necessary.
Yeah. I need to check when Shane's actually back physically in the office because she's in Greece at the moment.
Okay, well,
We can talk before then anyway, okay?
Okay, sorry to be talking.
No, we can talk then. I can, I can share with you our concerns before then, even if we haven't actually filled in the 70 odd questions, before Wednesday.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Helen, thanks. Right. Okay, bit of work to do, isn't it?
I started thinking, oh, this will take me an hour. Then the more I kept going down to these statistical rabbit holes and footnotes, I mean, I'm apparently the first person to notice that in the spatial, is it the spatial strategy or the
strategy,
role and settlements?
Runs into 220 pages, doesn't it? That particular.
Yeah.
Well, there was 146, 250, but there's a footnote, and in the middle of the paragraph, it gives you a link to the WSP Accessibility Tool Technical Guide. Doesn't work. So to be fair, Graham sent it to me, but no one else has asked about it because you've got 145 parishes who don't even want to look at it. They're just going to vote for this because they get nothing or 38 houses.
Yeah, I can't believe we can take another 11,000. We've only got 13,000 homes at the moment. Another 11,000. I mean,
86% increase.
Yeah, well, that's about right. Okay. Well, thanks very much for coming. You've got contact, so let's keep in touch over the next few days, next week, and likewise, let's, even after the close of this, there's going to be a lot more. I think we need to be really clear.
Sorry, Steve, to interrupt, but before, just because I'm getting a bit desperate about the timing, before Paula goes, could you perhaps I could just say, Paula, the quickest way, probably without me giving the phone over the YouTube channel, is to try and get me at helen.k, K-A-Y, no E, at somerset.gov.uk, and then we can go from there.
I'm so sorry. Can you say? Sorry. So sorry, Helen. Can you repeat that?
It's Helen, just HELEN .K-K-A-Y, no E.
Yeah.
At somerset.gov.uk.
It's I'm not going to say your phone number out, Helen. Is it the one ending 91?
Yes, that's my work number. Yes, thank you.
Is that the number I should give?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that now. It's my work number. You could say that on the YouTube channel, actually. Yeah, I just don't want everybody phoning me. Yeah.
Well, we will. Yeah.
Yeah, you will. Yeah.
I'll write it down and do it offline. I don't like giving it out on. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. Right. Let me.
We respect the planning team, so we don't want to. We're not doing this as a sort of grudge bear. It's only when I started diving down, I thought, used to do stats. But that's sort of where it's all come from.
What I'll do in probably tomorrow and Monday is try and this has been recorded, so I'll capture what we've discussed here and try and summarize it. And maybe that will help shift the conversation on via email or whichever way we're going to try and sort this out next week. So, okay.
You can carry on with us, I think, you don't have the slides.
So things like LC whips and cycling and walking. I mean, that development at Old Ford, that potentially is going to happen. I mean, that, we pushed so that we can link up our LC whips with your LC whip, because it makes, I mean, it's common sense, isn't it? At the end of the day, that that's linked, and then you can then carry on and carry on and carry on. But if you don't do it now, it will never happen. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Any further thoughts regarding the local plan?
So what currently is going to happen when Jane's back next week? Jane and I and Aaron have set up a meeting where we're going to go through these 70 odd questions. Obviously, anyone is welcome to join that meeting if you want to come. As soon as Jane's back, we'll fix up a time and get it off. In the meantime, I'll send Helen a note with some of the concerns. And if you read the first paragraph in terms of the scoping document, it says it is just that. It is a scoping document, but obviously there are some data and some stats in there which need some serious questioning.
Station for
I've heard that for a year or so.
Just on that point, you won't be surprised about buses, is that 50 odd million that Dawn Denton was talking about, did invite up Mark Stanistreet here to Frome, and I met with him and Peter Travis, and we did a tour to look at the infrastructure that some of that money actually is allocated for, or given by the government for infrastructure rather than actual capital for funding and so on. And at that time, it's about 3 months ago, and also we met with Rachel and Amber. Jane was going to come in on the meeting, but she wasn't in on that day. There was a sort of a verbal commitment that Frome would be looked at very positively in helping that infrastructure. So just to sort of round that, but also Somerset, and I haven't heard anything since, and I don't know if it's mentioned in the local plan, and then the Somerset plan, is that they were looking to set up transport hubs, but we're not. Frome is not being considered as a transport hub.
I don't think we've got any space for that.
No, but it was the idea of where we are located geographically. But part of the reason is because most of our bus services are serviced by providers outside of Somerset, mostly Wiltshire and then Baines and Bristol.
Okay, well, a lot of work to do on this, not just next week, but I think for the next year. It's a 30-month project. So will there be more?
No, I was just going to say we need to. I think we need to vote to delegate responsibility to respond to the scoping consultation on the local plan to Jane and Steve.
Yeah.
And the proposed, Mark seconded and unanimous.
Great. Thank you. Right. Moving on, item number 7 on the agenda, consider major plan applications received. Over to Owen. Okay.
Okay. Thanks to Ollie, the work experience kid, who helped me put together this week's presentation. So first item on the agenda is number 952, which is 10 Worley Close, a 2-storey side extension that we have seen come up before. No decision was made on the planning application. We're not quite sure why it's come back under the same application, but obviously that's a matter for the officer. So we've had new drawings provided, and we objected to the original application due to overbearing and overshadowing neighbouring bungalow. The new drawings appear to be slightly more detailed, but otherwise the basic proposal appears to be the same. You can see the red shaded area there is where the side extension will be. At kind of the corner of a cul-de-sac there on Worley Close. These are the front elevations, so you can see the existing on the left and proposed on the right. This was the original elevation drawing from the 2023 application. So back and forth, you can't really see a huge amount of difference other than it's a bit more detailed on the later drawings. Here's a street view of the property there, you can see, so the existing driveway and garage to the right-hand side of that building in the middle of the picture there. That's where the extension would be. There is a garage to the right-hand side of that area there, which belongs to the property behind. There's a bungalow behind. And you have a public alleyway, footpath alleyway to the right-hand side, and bungalows on the right-hand side of that image as well. So obviously quite a lot going on. Yep.
I don't see there's anything here to change our original objection, frankly.
I do sort of remember this one coming up, and I think at the time we did say, didn't we, that it is going to really overpower that.
Yeah, that little bungalow next door on the one behind. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I can't see anything. Philip, you got any? Were you going to say something?
No, I agree. And also the concern is that you've got that garage, as Owen was saying, that belongs to someone else. I mean, that, building what they're going to build with that garage there, that causes a few issues, I would imagine.
I think we maintain our previous objection.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see logistically how they'd manage to build it without blocking access to that garage anyway while the construction work's going on.
Obvious.
They didn't provide any any narrative on why they put it through again.
We don't know what's happened from 2023 to here. It's like 3 years of whether.
Yeah, I'm happy to propose we continue our objection.
Okay, Andy proposed, Steve seconded, and that's unanimous. Maintain objection on the same basis as before.
Yeah.
Okay, next item. This is also one that's come before us before. This is 1 Palmer Street, the Old Bath Arms, item number 953. Change from public house to 7 residential flats and a commercial units. These are the images we provided before, just to situate it for you. So these are revised plans following site meeting and officer/town council comments. They include corrected plans, courtyard elevations, window details, and so forth. So it responds to some of the comments we made in response to the last application, the original application, which where we said we'd like to see elevations to the interior courtyard, more details on the windows, clarification over bin and cycle storage, provision of WC and hand washing to the commercial units, and clarification on employment impact. I'm just going to show you the key drawings for the changes that have been made. You can see on the overall site plan here, they've now included cycle storage for 10 bikes. I did have a comparison drawing here, but where that is shown there previously, that was a planted area. The cycle storage there where the arrow is pointing. And they've also now included a bin storage area, which I've kind of blown up on the right-hand side of the image there, which includes space for the 7 flats in the longer bit there, and a larger covered area for the commercial waste. This was the original ground floor plan, and this is really relevant mainly in respect to the commercial units and the provision of toilets and hand washing. The revised drawings now have sacrificed a bedroom in one of the apartments, flat 2, and that has now become a staff area with a store and a WC and a kitchen unit thing there as well.
So the 2 commercial units are actually linked, aren't they?
Yeah, I think the proposal, or what they're saying, is they want it to be a co-working area. So actually, I suspect they will be one unit. Yeah, oh yeah, here's a bit more detail. The original bike storage area was shown on the left hand side there, and I mean it shows an area marked on the right which is larger, and it's designed or intended to be for 10 bikes, 7 flats, 10 bikes. These are the internal elevations for the courtyard area that we hadn't seen before. Showing something of the window design, and on the other side, so those have been provided now. However, there hasn't been any detailed drawings for the windows, which will obviously be a matter for the conservation officer. Their response to that particular point was that they'll match existing painted timber casements. And details were provided as part of any condition attached to any approval's consent. I'm not quite sure if that's how it works, but
I think from memory, the question was more of not so much materials, but how light was going to enter into the flats as well, wasn't it?
yeah, I mean, I think that's a concern that's been raised by the Civic Society specifically. I don't think we, in our original response, we specifically mentioned light.
Right. It should be. I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sort of thing is covered by building regs, and we can get into a wider discussion about the use of the building in respect to those kind of details.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Civic Society were also pushing back on the fact that there was no evidence that they tried to market it as a commercially viable unit, but given the state of the pub trade at the moment, I don't think we need any more evidence of that.
No, I mean, it may be that the council, the officer does require evidence of that, and we could point to it in our response. Civic Society no doubt will. They did provide some details of employment impact in their revised submission. I haven't got the full details, but there was details about how a number of the existing employees had already found employment and how many jobs. I think it was in the realm of sort of 25. The new proposal would provide. Yeah. Any further thoughts?
I think it's time to hand it over to the professionals. I don't think, from my point of view, I have no further objections to this one.
The case officer has been on site.
Right.
I don't think the conservation officer has been on site.
Right.
I think, that to me would be quite important.
Yeah.
Given the building.
Nature of the building. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's quite. I was saying to Owen earlier on, it's quite hard to work out how all the flats interact with each other and how you get in and out of the flats and things like that. I mean, the Civic Society made some pointed comments, which I'm not going to reach out.
The whole building's a bit like Hogwarts, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's You sort of go through a door and it's the old Narnia, isn't it? I guess at the end of the day, are we happy with the concept of then turning this place into 5 flats?
Yeah.
So that's the first question, is it? We're happy with that.
Yeah.
The rest of it is difficult for us to really comment on without seeing what the conservation officer has to say.
Yeah. It's actually 7 flats, but yeah.
7 flats, yeah. The commercial element, I mean, they're saying there was 20 plus or 25 jobs. They're saying that you can get 20 odd people in a workspace.
Yeah. I know. I would be surprised if those were 25 FTEs anyway to start with at the pub.
I would be surprised as well. So to me, it's sort of, over to the conservation officer and see what they've got to say.
So our response, going by what you've said, would be no objection, subject to conservation officer satisfaction in
Yeah.
respect to the stuff that he deals with.
Yeah, the heritage asset.
Yeah, exactly. It's the whole how to mine's gone. Yeah, how to protect the heritage asset at the end of the day. And
Okay.
we have that. Yeah. So
Great.
where's it ended?
Andy proposed that, Philip second, and unanimous.
Go back onto the star at 90 Weymouth Road.
Yes.
What you've been waiting for, Andy.
Okay, I haven't provided much any additional detail other than this slide for this one, because I think most people are aware of that, and the basic proposal is quite simple. The redevelopment of that building. So this is, sorry for the benefit of the recording, this is item number 954, 90 Weymouth Road. Change of use of 4 number rooms from class C1 hotel, so hotel rooms, to spa use. So the essential element of the proposal was that during the construction process, the business plan for the building has evolved, necessitating a change of use, as overnight accommodation on the upper floors is no longer commercially viable.
Anyone got a problem with it? No. It's probably better for local residents than hotel rooms, isn't it? If they don't mind the smell of lemongrass. Yeah, no objection. Yeah.
No objection. Proposed by, who was that? Steve, Philip, and that's unanimous. Okay, next one. This is item number 955, 9 Grange Road, Frome. This is another one we've seen before. Application 620, which was previously refused for being overbearing and had an oppressive impact. The revised scheme aims to reduce the impact on neighbouring property number 7 by changing the rear extension, making it smaller, and setting it back from the boundary with a pitch roof and maintenance gap. So we offered, it was refused, but we offered no objection subject to offer to satisfaction around amenity impacts to number 7. They obviously found that there was amenity impacts and refused. So you can see the existing ground floor plan there. So that's single story on the left hand side of the building. The proposal increases it to a 2-story side extension and removal of the conservatory and addition of the kitchen, dining, family room at the rear there. So this is the new proposal with a larger space between the right hand side of that rear extension and the boundary.
Yeah, the previous one right up to the boundary, didn't it?
Yeah, the previous one went right up to the boundary. So this is existing front and rear elevations, as you can see there. This was the original application. And yeah, you can see it extending right up to the boundary with the neighbouring property. And this is the new elevations for the latest application. You see the extension is shifted to the left at the rear.
And that's your single story, isn't it, at the rear?
Single story at the rear.
Yeah, to the original one, it'd be odd to get
Object-
to a smaller one.
I think it's the same comment, isn't it? No objection, subject to no loss of amenity to the
Yeah.
resident. Same comment, really, isn't it?
It is.
We put back the opposite of future in the first.
Even that distance might not satisfy it. Even that movement, so it might not.
Okay, so that's no objection, subject to officer being satisfied of impact to amenity as previously commented. Proposed by Mark, seconded by Steve, and unanimous. Next item number 958. This is TPO East Hill House, 2 large leaf elms to be felled. The stated reason was to give the larger, more mature beech some more room. No further info in terms of reasoning, and there was no indication in respect to the health of the trees.
They have TPOs, yeah.
Yep, they have TPOs.
TPOs for a reason, don't they?
Yep.
Um,
You can see the satellite image there. It's not really that clear from that exactly where those elms are, but it's obviously a wooded area to the rear of that garden. It's part of a larger TPO area that covers a lot of that and sort of goes down towards East Hill Cemetery.
I think I need a lot more information before I can agree to just chopping down a tree. It's got a TPO on it. Otherwise, it sort of goes against everything that we stand for when it comes to trees, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
I don't know if what anyone else thinks. Oh yeah, Andy's keeping quiet.
I would agree. Yeah,
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying yes, but they've got a TPO for a reason.
For a reason.
Yeah. So a little bit more context and reasons. I mean, don't see that chopping 2 elms down to protect a beech tree. Trees are not my expert subject.
I find that quite odd. Sort of sacrifice 2 to save. It doesn't seem to me a good enough reason.
so.
Information, please.
Is that are we objecting?
Basically, yes.
Yeah, I think we're objecting because we need some more information.
Yeah.
We objecting? Or we not objecting?
Okay. Objection. Not enough justification for felling a TPO tree.
TPO trees. Yeah.
Okay.
Asking about the fish pond.
Yeah. Sorry, Helen. I've just got too many things to think about. I didn't see that. I didn't see any reference to the pond outside the old Bath Arms on Bath Street. My kids would be devastated.
Sorry, I'm not on mute, so I'll just say that it's not relevant to necessarily the change of use to flats, but the planning application, strictly speaking. But I'm not sure who's responsible for that pond, and I always stop when I'm walking up the hill and have a rest there and have a look at the pond. So, yeah, just wondered.
Okay. I didn't see any. I would ask that. I did. Someone told me that was a significant structure around that pond, like it used to be. Maybe in a horse feeding trough or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's not. I haven't seen any reference to it. We need to vote on that last one. Sorry, item 958, the TPO trees, proposed by Steve, seconded by Philip, and unanimous.
Oh yeah.
Abstention from Andy Jones. Last one. This is 29 Berkeley Road, a 2-story rear extension on the main house, and replacing an existing single garage to a double, an additional access point made. This significant increase in the footprint of the building, taking the building closer to neighbouring boundaries, and the new garage has windows to the side elevation and a rear double door. You can see the existing site plan there. and the proposed. So obviously, a large kitchen dining area coming out the back, replacing the conservatory, and the increase in side of the garage there.
It is a huge plot. Yeah, massive plot.
Yeah. Elevations existing, proposed. So in terms of the front elevation, not too much, other than the garage. This is the rear and the proposed. So existing rear, proposed rear.
So the garage is staying a single story structure, isn't it?
Yeah. Garage will stay a single story.
It's now permanently connected to the main house.
No, it has a kind. It looks like a kind of a
Covered walkway.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the additional access point?
I think that may be
Door into the.
replacing existing single garage to double an additional access point made. I think that's referring to the door at the rear.
Okay.
Onto the road.
There is. You're right, Mark. There's also a change to they want to drop a curb. I didn't include that in the presentation. I could probably.
That's it. That's a highway, isn't it? Yeah. So, I didn't really have too many. I didn't have any objection to this actually, apart from the usual caveat that they can't sell it off and all that. It's quite a large plot, isn't it? It's set well back. I couldn't see it's going to interfere with
I can't see
any
they
neighbour.
want to sell it off independently.
I can't know.
I think that's.
It's the usual thing we say on all these things when they're in the garage into a sort of self-contained, isn't it?
The application is to make it into a double garage, but it does include some windows on the side of the building and a back door.
Exactly where there's going to get Airbnb on
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it may be worth asking for a condition that the double garage is not converted to an independent dwelling.
Yeah, I'm fine with it, but the highways will have to look at the drop curb and presumably they're going to replicate the gate.
No objection.
So there's no objection, subject to highways approval.
Yep.
Proposed by Mark, seconded by Steve, and unanimous. Okay. And that is that.
And then you can balance.
Yeah. Yep. Can we vote on the other applications not discussed to be delegated to Owen and Jane? Proposed by Andy, seconded by Philip, and unanimous.
Good. Excellent. Next meeting is on the 6th of August, 2026. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Helen.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye.